Hey everyone, it's Becky. I just wanted to show you guys my design team projects for Craftsupplies1. It's like altered paper mache hearts. I don't know exactly what to call them. I don't have a name. It was inspired by the top one, and the bottom one was inspired by ILUVVintageScrap here on YouTube. And then the middle one is inspired by and I'm going to slaughter her name. It's Ingvild, I think. There's a pin on Pinterest that has a heart like that. The one that ILUVVintageScrap did, I think they're flat, like plaques. And these are like, the round paper mache hearts. I have to hold my camera and my thing is hanging up so you guys can see. And so I have something behind it because my wall drowns out the hanging hearts, so I have to put a white thing behind it so you guys can see it. So I'm going to just go up closer so you guys can see. I just wanted to show you guys like the whole overview, and then I'll just go up closer and show you everything. So I'm going to cover you up so I can go up closer, and then I'll show you guys. Okay, so here is the top part, and that's where it hangs from. This lace right here is from Craftsupplies1, as well as the bling, and that's the mesh bling you can get. I did make stick pins, and I'll show you guys that in a minute. Let me see if I can focus this better. There we go. So there's the stick pins, and I'll pull those out and show you guys. So here's the paper mache heart, and what I did was they're just the, the big round ones, or the heart-shaped ones, but they're dimensional. That you can get at Hobby Lobby, and I think Michael's. I think I got these at Hobby Lobby. And I used spackle and kind of put it around like you put icing on a cake, and then I let that dry, and then I went in with my script stamp and I went over it right there with the script, and then I went over it with the chicken wire, not the stamp, the stencil, sorry, the stencils, and went over the top of it so you can kind of see. My lighting's really bad over here in this side of my room too, sorry. So it kind of pops out a little bit, and down in here too, and then I went over it with my sprays. I didn't bring my sprays over here. Hold on and I'll show you guys. Okay, really quick, I'll just show you what colors that I used. I used this one, and it is the cotton candy pink. And I used this one. It's dark chocolate truffle. I used just a tiny bit of that, and a tiny bit of this creme brulee cream, and then I used some of this frostbitten fuchsia, and then I took and I put it away. I took some of that metallic black paint, I think it's by Folk Art, and I mixed it with alcohol, and I did like the black around the script stencils. And then on some things I used this distress paint, the black soot. And I also used this antique linen. And I used that like on the metals on my hearts. And then I also used this Victorian velvet. So I'm going to go back over there and show you guys so that you know what colors I used and stuff like that. So just one second, I'll cover you back up. Okay, so I pretty much just sprayed. I went over it a little bit, just a tiny bit with the dark chocolate truffle, and then I sprayed it, I think before it dried, with that cotton candy pink. And then I dried it, and then I went over it with the frostbitten fuchsia, and then dried that and went over it with the creme brulee cream. And I dried it, and then I went back over it with the fuchsia. And then in some spots I did some gesso, and I did some script stamps, so if you can see that. So that's like pretty much what I did on the hearts. Up here is like a pin cushion. I don't know if you can see. I did some black material and then I put black lace over it and stuffed it in there and glued it. And then I went around the edges a little bit with the bling, the mesh bling. I cut it and just went around the edges just to kind of, you know, so you can't really see the rough edges of the heart that I cut out. And then these are some frames that I made with Polymer's clay and the Martha Stewart molds. That's just a butterfly that I fussy cut out of the Lyric collection, and then I just used the little wires that come on the acrylic stems from Craftsupplies1. I just used that for the antennas. And then the black rose is from Craftsupplies1, and then this is the little Prima zipper charm. And I took some cheesecloth and I dyed it with all those same sprays, and then just a little piece of lace that I had from my stash. And then I'm trying to see, there's like a little tiny metal piece, and I got that from Butterbee Scraps, and I just dyed it with the paints. That's what I used, the paints on the distress paints. Sorry, I'm like really shaky because I'm trying to hold my arm up. Down here, this is like one of those clear diamond bubbles from Craftsupplies1, and there's an acrylic piece from the store as well. And then this is one of those Prima wood leaves that you can get now in like the sets. I think mine was the leaves and the mushrooms. And then there's some more cheesecloth that I dyed, and then all of these flowers. These are like the little white, oh, I'm not even framed, white rolled roses you can get from the store. That's like a little black, and it's a 1/2 inch flower. And then this is one of the bigger pink ones. I think they're 1 inch. And I just took off the extra flowers and made it a bud. And then there's another little black flower and a white one. I think that's it on that. If you have any questions on the frames, I went over it with that paint, the velvet, and then with some texture paint as well. And that's what I went over everything with, was the texture paint. So there's that one. And then to attach everything, I don't know if you can see it, I used eyelets and I screwed them into the hearts, and then I just tied this, you know, the trim. This is like the black satin and organza, and it's got like a zebra print on it. So that's what I tied it with, and then there's the mesh bling again. And I went over it with the texture paint that, you know, you mix with sand and all that from Faith Chick 777. And that I did the eyelets on all 3 of them. At first I had one solid piece, you know, just running down the back, but when you get to the bottom, this one, and it still does it a little bit, it fell forward like a lot. So I didn't want that, so I had to go back and just use the eyelets all the way down. So here's the middle one. I did the same thing with the texture and the script stamp, and I put a little bit of texture paint. These are those latex roses that you can get from the store with the little leaf. And then this is a Prima resin window. And then a Tim Holtz hinge, and I just attached it there. And then on the inside I put a clock, and I put it on a one of those flower pieces from Butterbee Scraps. And this is the acrylic flower from Craftsupplies1. And then, you know, I just twirled all the stems around my pen or my paintbrush to give it that. That's one of those little Tim Holtz, I don't know what they're called, ornate pieces or something, you know, like little knockers. That's what they remind me of. And then this is a pearl spray from Craftsupplies1, and I just, you know, looped it. And there's a little white flower. These are the, I think, 7 3/4 of an inch. And then that's a little porcelain white and pink rose that you can get from the store, and that's a little black one. And then this is a little rose charm, and I just kind of hung it from this pink acrylic with a string. I tied it in a bow. And then this is a cream one that you can get. They're the 3/4 of an inch one, and I just scrunched it up and put it there. And then there's a little pink one and a little black one. And that's a bird, a Tim Holtz bird. You can get, like I think there are a set of charms you can get. And then on the inside I just used that white acrylic spray with the pearls that are like the little flowers. So that's what I did there, and then I just put 3 little flowers, the black, the white, and the pink. And then that's a Prima clock with the Prima hands that's glued on top of that ILUVVintageScrap's metal flower. So that's what I did there. And then over here on the side, oh, before I forget, this is some seam binding that I got from Marla in our swap. Thank you, Marla. And then over here, this is like a little white leaf, and I stamped it with my script stamp. This is a little flower piece, and I got that from Better Be Scraps, and I just kind of cut it and tucked it in there. And then, oh, I didn't even see that. Sorry, don't mean to make you guys dizzy. There's a little black flower and a pink one and a white one, and those are the 1/2 inch, except for this little cream one. That was the 3/4 inch, and I took off some of the petals to get it to fit in there. And then, oh, there's another leaf back behind there. I don't know if you guys can see it, and I stamped that one, a little white one. I stamped it with the script stamp. And then back here is one of those peach calla lilies from the store. So there's that one. And I did pretty much the same thing. The spackle, what I did, before I forget, is I spackled it, and then I went over it with white paint because my husband's a painter, and so he said that I watched a tutorial by Luvleescrappin that kind of give reviews on the different texture paint pastes, like the modeling paste, and she said that the spackle kind of, you know, leaves like a powdery residue, and my husband said to get rid of that because he paints and he uses it. He says to put paint over it. So with something like this, as large of a project where you're using a lot, you can use the spackle, just put the white paint or whatever color you want over it, and it will seal it so it doesn't powder off. You couldn't really do that with like a project where you're just using like a script or a, you know, the chicken wire, because if you paint over it, of course it's going to go in the cracks where you don't want it. So if you ever use, you know, do something like that on a large project where you want to use a lot and you don't want to use modeling paste because it is kind of expensive, you can use spackle, just paint over it. So, and then here there's more stick pins, and I'll go over those. I did the same thing on here. This is just a paper from the Lyric collection, and I stamped my script stamp, and this is a key from the store, and then I just put a little diamond from the mesh bling. I don't know why I keep forgetting the name. This is, you know, another frame that I made out of polymer's clay and Martha Stewart, and I used the velvet and the antique white on this frame, and then as well as the one up here. Sorry, I don't mean to make you guys dizzy. And then there's 2 little flowers from the store, and then there's some more seam binding from Marla, and then black flower, and then that's a button from the Lyric collection. I just tied a little string in it. There's another leaf, and I stamped the script on it, and I painted it with the antique white. And then there's a little white rose, and then there's one of those latex roses again from the store. There's you know, the 1-inch flowers. And then back behind there, if you can see it's tucked in, is some lace from the store as well. I think that's it. I'm going to stop the movie, or the video, sorry, and I'm going to take it down, and then I'll show you guys the stick pins. So I will be right back. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys. I was showing, and then my camera tipped over, and so I have to redo it because I can't. Oh, it drives me nuts. Anyways, here's I did 2 black big ones and 2 pink big ones with the hat pins, and this was inspired by Bonnie, Sassyscrappers, here on YouTube. Hi, Bonnie. She did a stick pin. holder, and then she did these really big stick pins, and so I thought that would be kind of cool to do for this one. So that's what I did, and I just used those 6-inch hat pins. I don't know if she went all the way down on hers. I didn't, just because I wanted to stick it in the stick pin holder. I don't think that she did. I don't quite remember. I should have went back and watched the video, but I'll put a link to the video below, just so you guys can see her stick pins, because I think they're really pretty. And she's the one that inspired me to buy the Jesse James beads, and that's what all of these are, except for like the metal, you know, bead spacers, and then I've got some metal beads too as well that are from Joann's, and then also little pearls. I do have a few from the store, and I'll show you those in just a minute. So there's my pink and my black one, and then I did 8 little ones. I did 4 black and 4 pink. So see, there's the metal beads, and then this little flowers from Craftsupplies1, and then the stick pins I just got from Joann's. That's a pearl topper. So there's that one, and then, you know, the crystal topper one. And these are all Jesse James beads, and then, you know, the pearl and the metal bead spacers. Here is another one from Craftsupplies1, the little bead cap. It's a flower, and then I put a metal or a aluminum flower rose that she has in her store, and the middle is the little crystal. Let's see if I can bring it in. Not any better. Let's see if I can. There we go. So there's like the aluminum bead, and then, you know, the middle is the crystal topper for the stick pin. The butterfly is also at the store too, so I use that. Oh, and then that one's got the earring backer. I use earring backs, the little plastic ones, when I am gluing them, and I just use glossy accents, but I push it on so that they all stay, because I dry them upside down. But sometimes they tip over, and I don't want the beads to like fall down and dry that way. I don't know if I showed this one. There's that one. And here's this one, another big pink one. And then here's a black one. And then there's another, good grief, bead cap. I was like, what is it called? Bead cap, and then, you know, the crystal top, and then I used a bead as well. And then there's the butterfly, and I used pearls from Joann's on that one. And then another bead cap from Craftsupplies1. And then here's another black one. And then here's another big black one. So there is my stick pins, and I just show you down here. I just on the bottom one and the top one, you know, I just used material. I don't know, let me show you a little bit since I have it laying down now. I just used black material and then some black lace from my stash and covered it, covered some batting, you know, and stuffed it in there and glued it. So there, that way. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I tucked cheesecloth behind the frame too as well. So there's that. And so the little, when you hang it up, it's a little bit easier, but you just stick them in there like that. And there is my altered heart stick pin plaque, I guess. I don't know what to call it. I hope you guys like it. Leave any comments or questions below. If I've missed anything and you have questions, feel free to ask. So I appreciate everybody watching, and have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.